I went to the Honda dealer to pick up some fork oil here that I'm going to rebuild the front forks on the bike, and I needed fork oil, so I picked that up. And I picked up a set of tie downs because I had borrowed some from the guy I bought the bike from because I didn't have them in any of my truck. I'd been using my brother's, and I left them at his place, and I took the XL175 back up there to store for the winter. And you know, it's something I can easily use in the truck, tie stuff down. So anyway, I got, show what all it is. Anyway, I picked these up and they should work pretty good. They were 30 bucks, but you know what? They're worth it for tying down your bike, having a good set of straps. And while I was there, they just happened to have in stock the correct key number for this bike. So I bought a set of keys, and this was $4 and these were $8. And that was 30, and I have to look at the bill. I think this was, I think it states on it, 20 bucks, $17.99. So yeah, so anyway, there we go. We got some, I got the seals, so that's going to be my job this weekend, hopefully, is replace the fork seals on the bike. The grips came to replace the torn ones. I think I'm going to replace them both because I can take the stuff off and polish the handlebar with the grip on. And this one, yeah, it's just, anyway, they're two different grips, just so you know. The throttle one's bigger round than the, so you know, it fits over that plastic sleeve. These are the part numbers. This is the throttle grip, and this is the left hand grip. So right hand, left hand. And they're obviously brand new Honda parts, so I'm gonna have the exact correct same grips on there. And I haven't even fooled with the forks yet, and I've been working in the garden, so maybe tomorrow I might put the grips on though. Doesn't that look much better? Yeah, what a difference that makes. Just these little odds and ends like the levers and getting these on and the grips and just cleaning it up. Wow, yeah. The fenders I'm going to have to repaint, and probably the gas tank too. I'll have to take it in and get paint mix to match that and paint mix to match that. This I'll just use the same black from the frame. This is kind of a dull black, so I'll get a paint mix to match that too. So I'll probably get like a pint of this, pint of that, a quart of this, maybe a quart of that. I have the black, so yeah. And I have exhaust paint, high heat exhaust paint too. But anyway, the next, like I say, the next is going to be the forks. So I'm going to rebuild the forks, put new seals and everything, try and clean these up and buff them and clean the wheel up while it's off, get all this stuff cleaned up. And then when I take it apart to restore it, it'll be that much less work I have to do. Basically, I'll do everything, so all I have to do when I take it apart is paint the bike. I'm going to get, I don't know if I said this or not, but I'll probably get this color matched, that color matched, and this color matched, because, and this decal is still available. So I'll probably repaint the tank, bump it all out. It had a pretty hefty dent in it here, and I got most of it out, but you can still see it, and it's got this dent, and there's a little dent on the other side, and the fender's scratched up, you know, and paint's worn off. So we're just gonna paint the frame, the gas tank, and the fenders, all of, you know, hardware and whatnot. Get everything, paint this, you know, make it all look like brand new. But anyway, I'm gonna start by draining the forks. If I can get the little bolt undone here. Like I say, it's on my transmission jack, and it's pretty steady on there. I don't think I'll be able to knock the bike off. I am going to put a ratchet strap over it here in a few minutes, but I'm going to get this draining right now. And if fluid even comes out, I might have to take that loose so air can come in here to get what's in here out. Look at that, nothing's coming out. It's just getting ready to drip out, so I'll probably have to take the, yeah, that's pretty nasty. These definitely need to come apart and be cleaned. But yeah, I don't think there's any fluid in them. I think it all leaked out. I think that's why nothing's coming in. These things are just so springy. You know, these, look at how tore up this boot is. You know, there's nothing left of it. And there's the seal. And you can change the seal and boot just by taking the fork off, but I'm going to take the fork apart because I want to clean it out, and I got new internal components too, so it can there's a number right there, 1981, well, it looks like it says, in some blue dye. But anyway, yeah, so let me get this loosen up, make sure there's no oil still in it, and then we'll get the fork. So I loosened this up. I didn't take it out because I don't want the spring to fire out. There is a spring in here. It's part of your suspension in this tube here. But anyway, I loosened that up and got that much fluid out of it, and it's not clogged up with stuff, but look at that nastiness that's in there. Yeah, this is probably the original fork oil in there still from day one, 50-year-old fork oil. It's going to be a mess rebuilding these. So anyway, I'm just going to put this back in. I'm going to loosen the other one up, see if it has any oil in it. And then we'll get the forks off the bike, which entails these 4 bolts to get the wheel and hub off. These 2 bolts, this bolt, and then the forks will slide out, or the fork or whatever. I'll probably do one I would probably take them both off at the same time, but obviously I'm only going to be able to rebuild one at a time. But I want to get this all spiffied up, so it might be more than a day to rebuild these, because, you know, like I say, I want to spiffy this up and get everything, all these spokes clean. These spokes clean up, so the front ones do anyway. I put a little effort in the rear ones, they clean up too, but front ones clean up much better. Now with the wheel off, I can just sit in a chair and out in the yard and just go to town with some polish and some 4/0 steel wool, and these things will clean up like new. I couldn't hold the camera and take the brake cable off, but anyway, loosen this nut here, the bottom one, so you can slide it down, and that way the cable will slide through that slot right there. And then there's a cotter pin that goes through this hole that keeps this from dropping down, so you just kind of push the brake up and get that out. So you got to take the brake line and the speedometer cable off to get the wheel off. The speedometer cable is held on with a Phillips screw right there, so I'll get the wheel hub loose. I've already loosened these up, and then I can, you know, get to the screw a little better, and then I can clean all this up. I'll take this arm off maybe when it's apart and clean it, and we can check the brakes and all that good stuff. As you can see, the wheel's off. I just put that screw back in there in the guide, so, you know, for the speedometer cable, so I wouldn't misplace it. But yeah, it just pulls out. It just fits in a little slot in the thing there. And this was bent. This was bolted here and holds the brake cable, and that's bent, so I'll straighten that while it's apart. And these will go in the parts washer, and forks, I guess, are ready to unbolt. I let the jack down so it's all the way down, and the bike it's not going to go anywhere. It's staying right there. So I'm going to start unbolting the forks, which is consistent of 2-3 bolts on each fork. So you just loosen these. You don't need to take them all the way out. And that one, which I am going to take them out because I'm going to buff them, but for now I rebuild these. It's just going to sit there. But yeah, they just fall out once you loosen up the bolts. You can see the marks here for different positions for different types of riding. This one was set right here, so it has the most you know, height on the front. But there's one shock off. Let's get the other one off, and then we'll get them apart and clean them out and do our doings on them. The inside of this looks pretty nice. It's just this leading edge that's really nasty. The rest of it's all right. All right, let me get the other one off. They are both off now. So I got the guts out. You can't see down in there, but there's zero oil in there. It's just like a sludge. There's the springs and the spacer. So this is the top, then this, and then this. And all right, I'm going to take the snap ring off, and we'll be able to pull this thing apart. I think it was just like a sludge. What was left in here was just like a, that's all I got out. And just show you how springy these things are, why I'm doing it. Look at that. Yeah, there's no dampening whatsoever in these. That's why before I ride it, I gotta rebuild them, and there's no getting around that. Next step is to get this tube out of here, and to do that you undo this cap screw right there, and then that will come out. I already took the snap ring off the seal there, and it'll be, you know, completely disassembled. We can wash it out and start cleaning and polishing. And it's hot out, so sorry if my fan's annoying you. It's almost 90 degrees out. It's 71 in the garage. The air was just a little stagnant in here, so I turned the fan on. I keep the garage closed. It stays cool in here, and I don't have to run the AC unit. All right, let me get that socket screw out, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get it all apart. There it is, all apart. Not much to it, is there? Get the tool out of there. This is the little cap screw I took out. And I got that ring new. And fork tube. Yeah, there's not a lot to it. It's just pretty cut and dry, simple. So I'll get that seal out, and then this will be ready for the parts washer. Yeah, it cleans up pretty darn good. This even looks better just washed off, but I'm going to try and buff that before I reassemble it. See if I can't make it look a little bit better. Yeah, but what I was doing was I was running because my brush doesn't fit down in there, so I was just kind of running the parts washer fluid through it and just kind of letting it run out the drain. And I have this sitting down in here too, so I think I'll just let that sitting there a minute or two and soak that stuff. But I washed all this other stuff up pretty good here, so that's all clean. So let me clean this up, get the seal out, and try and buff it up. That's definitely bringing the shine back. It's actually making it look like shiny chrome, so I might have to, I don't know, we'll see what I have to do to it, but that's gonna clean this thing up. It'll look better than what it did, and so I'm gonna probably spend quite a while here buffing, but I think it'll make all the difference in the world. Sorry if the fan just made wind noise. I didn't realize it just, I turned the oscillator off for a minute there. So anyway, we're just gonna kind of go to town here. Don't need to put much pressure on it. Just kind of work it around, hold it, you know, just hold it against the wheel. And that's definitely taking that nasty corrosion off. It'll look better, no doubt about it. There we go. Look at how that thing cleaned up compared to that. Yeah, big difference. And the inside is spotless. So it's about ready to go back together. I'm just going to give the chrome tube, the tube's actually pretty decent. I put these caps in here. I'm going to clean them up. But yeah, everything's cleaned up nice. This little nylon ring's going to get replaced. So I might put this shock together and then just call it a day and work on the other one tomorrow. I've just been kind of taking my time with this because, you know, I got to do yard work and other things around the house. So I just work on it an hour here or there. I got about probably an hour into that tube all total. And I'm super happy with the way it looks. We'll get the other one looking just as good. We'll get those spokes looking just as good. Get the hub, everything cleaned up. This thing's going to look nice. Look, the frame's in really nice shape. If you go back and look at the videos on my XL175, the front of the frame here was pretty rough from all the years of riding it. And I actually took the frame and had it sandblasted. It wouldn't fit my bead blast cabinet. This one I don't think I'm going to have to take it and have it sandblasted, but yeah, that looks really nice. Very happy with how that came out. So I thought I'd just make an exploded view here. This is what screws into this, which goes down in this tube like so. I'm going to put a new nylon thing on there. And this goes in the bottom here, and the two springs, this goes in between the springs and the cap. So there really isn't much to the front fork or shock absorber or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm going to clean this up a little chrome polish and 4-aught steel wool and change this little bit here and put the seal in. We'll be ready to reassemble this one, and I can start on that one. That is the part number for this little nylon doodad there. I don't know how well this shows up or not, but there's two lips on this side of the seal. I don't know if you can see them or not. They go towards the fluid side, and then the single seal lip goes towards the dust boot side. So make sure you put your seal in the correct way. This is a national seal. This is not a Honda part, and this is actually supposed to be a better seal than the OEM one because it seals out stuff from the fork as well as keeping the fluid in. It's like a marine propeller shaft seal. So water can't get in, lube can't get out. It kind of gives you that same thing. So make sure you put your seal in the correct way. I don't know if this shows up or not, but that little ring is worn from running dry in there with no fluid. So yeah, I'm glad I got a new one. And don't put your stuff together dry. So I'm going to use the fork oil. This is what the XL250 recommends, and of course should do both forks. So let me put a little oil on things. I got the seal in, the little doodad that goes down in the bottom of the bore I put in before I put the seal in. So let me get this fork together here. This shouldn't take very long. It's probably going to take me longer to oil everything up than reassemble it. There we go. One restored fork, one fork to go. So I got 3.5 hours into the, well, that's including taking the forks off the bike. So probably restoring this one fork, I got about 2 hours into it. Mostly, you know, cleaning, and we'll get the other one tomorrow. And then I'll put the oil in them after it's on the bike, because otherwise this falls down, you know, I'm trying to put the cap on, and it's just difficult. So it's easier to put it on the bike to put the oil in it. I buffed the bolt all up while it was out and just kind of wiped this off. I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to paint this, I don't know what they call it, triple tree or whatever. I'm not going to paint that until I take the bike apart, because, you know, then I got to redo the bearings, and I'm going to be taking this off to paint the frame anyway. So, but anyway, I can buff the bolts, and you can kind of see the before and the after, and the little reflector that is here on this bracket. I took off. I'm going to buff this up, clean this up so it's a little better. And the bolts that hold it on, kind of after, before, yeah, they're kind of cruddy. They're originally chrome plated, so they buff up pretty nice. And then the bracket for the reflectors in my bead blast cabinet in here. So I'm going to give that a quick blast and paint, and then that'll be that much less I have to do when I tear the bike apart. Totally clean. And I am going to paint that in a satin black. You might be able to read the can when looking at it, not through the camera you can't read it, but through the camera it looks legible. One fork installed and it looks really, really nice. That came out good. All nice and shiny. All right, let's turn to the other fork. Got the other shock apart. Everything is, some of the parts are in here soaking, but everything is, as you can see, this is cleaned out. I'm going to buff this up and then we'll reassemble a fork. Santa came again today, so he brought me it was missing 2 of these screws. This was a package of 4, so I got these. So I got a couple extra. Both the rear signal lights are missing the bottom screw. I got the plug connector for the battery, and I got an XL250 decal for this cover right here that was missing in the correct colors. I just want to show something important here with this snap ring. So this end, I don't know if it shows up, but it's just kind of rounded the way it's manufactured on this outer edge here. And this end, it's really sharp. And you want the sharp edge up so it's getting the most bite in that groove. If you put this end in it, you know, it'll wear that groove because it won't bite the full length. It'll bite just a little bit of it because it is curved. So always make sure you put the sharp end up, and I don't know if that shows up or not, how it's rounded on one end and sharp on the other, but just a little tidbit so you know, get them in the right way. There we go. The other fork is all together, ready to go on the bike. I got to polish this stuff up. This is kind of a cable guide that was bent up, so I'm gonna straighten that out. Buff this as the top bolt, buff that out, buff this out, so you get to see kind of before you get all that cleaned up, and we'll get the fork installed. Cable guide and bolt for the top all cleaned up, came out really nice, looks like brand new. Just kind of wanted to show an after. Yeah, that cleaned up nice. And the nut, this little bracket's threaded, but a nut goes on the back side to lock it on. There we go. The other shock is on. All the goodies are mounted. Yeah, it looks really nice. I got to straighten the little thing for here. I think it's in the parts washer. I gotta clean the caps, and tomorrow I'll clean the wheel and the spokes. Get that all nicely spiffied up and put it back on. We'll put the oil in the forks and it'll be done. The forks will be done. The forks are done and installed. I cleaned the wheel up, cleaned the brake hub. The brakes are fine, cleaned up pretty nice. Yeah, it looks good. I'm happy with the way it's coming along. So, you know, all the stuff, the black will get repainted, the silver will get repainted when I take the bike apart to restore it. But like I say, I'm just cleaning up things as I go, just so you kind of, you know, it'll save me some work, and I'm just videoing this so you can kind of see what I've done. Turns out really nice. I haven't put the oil in the forks yet. That's the only thing I haven't done. I put a note on the tank there, so I'll probably do that tomorrow or the next day. I'm just exhausted and did a bunch of yard work today too and cleaned up that rim. So there we go. I'm going to end this video here. So if you liked it, definitely hit the thumbs up icon. It helps me out. If you like my channel, that 348 engine icon that pops up there will help you subscribe. And thank you for watching my video.